Take a look at the matchups in tonight's ball game. Let's first take a look at the guard spots. You got Dumars and Hawkins, and all of a sudden you're taking a look at two players that are scoring 18 points a game. They are excellent defensive players. They can score from the outside. They can drive to the basket, and they're pretty much equal in their own abilities. And the other matchup will be Bill Laimbeer and Mike Jaminski, both averaging 13 points per game. We talked about them a little bit in the pregame with Neil Hartman, and they're both excellent outside shooters. And one thing that does, it brings the defensive center out, and it opens up the middle for slashing, driving guards, and for Charles Barkley and Rick Mahorn.
The division leaders head-to-head when we come back.
Mix, the Sixers can clinch the Atlantic Division title and win it for the first time since 1983. And Sixer fans remember what happened that year.
World Championship.
Mark it down. Here is the starting lineup for the 76ers.
From Auburn, Charles Barkley. At the other forward, number 44 from Hampton Institute, Rick Mahorn. At center, number 42 from Duke, Mike Jaminski. At one of the guards, wearing number 33 from Bradley, Percy Hawkins. And at the other guard, number 12 from Duke, Johnny Dawkins.
For the Sixers, Barkley, Mahorn, Jaminski, the front line, Hawkins and Dawkins in the backcourt. The Sixers coming to the ball game with 52 victories, trying to make it 53, and more importantly, that 53rd would represent the Atlantic Division title, as we said. And of course, the opposition, the Detroit Pistons, the defending world champions, Central Division champions, and the team with the best record in the Eastern Conference. And here's the starting lineup now for the Pistons.
At one of the forwards, number 10, from Southeast Oklahoma State, Dennis Rodman. At the other forward, number 53, from Washington, James Buddha Edwards. At center, number 40, from Notre Dame, Bill Laimbeer. Welcome back to the starting lineup. At guard, number 4 from McNeese State, Joe Dumars. And at the other guard, your captain, number 11 from Indiana, Isaiah Thomas.
For the Pistons, Rodman, Edwards, Laimbeer, the front line, backcourt, Dumars and Isaiah Thomas. And right off the bat, Steve, we get an indication of how seriously Chuck is taking this game. Dumars has been back since suffering the broken wrist, but he has not been in the starting lineup, but he is there tonight. Look at the officials. Bernie Fryer, Jim Capers, and Jake O'Donnell. Fryer on the left, Capers in the middle. O'Donnell on the right, so 3 veteran officials to work a big game.
Well, you couldn't have asked for 3 better officials, like you said, but getting back to Joe Dumars for a minute, he missed 7 games. He was out just 16 days with a broken left hand. You believe that? All of a sudden, he has now played in 4 straight games. But because this is a big game for the Philadelphia 76ers, they decided to insert Joe Dumars into the starting lineup. And Chuck Daly is definitely taking this game seriously.
Tonight's tip-off is brought to you by Miller High Life. The best comes shining through. Capers puts it in the air, and the tip flipped into the backcourt by Edwards to Isaiah Thomas.
And the Charter got here early last night, so the Philadelphia 76ers, despite playing last night against Indiana, should be rested.
Well, Detroit's had a ton of days off, though.
Yes.
Edwards inside, he missed it point-blank range.
They've had 4 days off, something like that?
Yeah, so you talk about resting. Offensive foul on Charles as he tried to drive off the left side.
One of the best offensive players being guarded by probably the best defensive player in the league, and that's Dennis Rodman.
You want to talk about a matchup? That may be the matchup of the night right there. Watching those two go at each other. Dumars, jumper, got it. 2-0, the Pistons.
Shot that like there wasn't anything wrong with that hand.
Well, he's been playing with kind of a soft cast or splint. And that is off now. Driving Hersey, floats it up short, intimidated a little bit by Edwards. Slips it out, and Isaiah had trouble with it, picked up by Dumars. Dumars, Laimbeer way out high. That's what Steve talked about in our open. Isaiah dribble drive, kicks it back. Rodman from the wing, and they'll give him that shot, and he banks it in. He is not a great outside shooter, although his outside shooting has gotten better this year.
Everybody remembers a couple years ago when he came down with time running out in the final game against the Lakers out in L.A., and he bricked that 16-footer, and Chuck almost died.
Rick Mahorn in traffic, fouled by Laimbeer. Whatever you want to say for him after being traded or actually not protected in the expansion draft after winning the championship here in Detroit, and to do it in front of this crowd and in front of Jack McCloskey and Chuck Daly. Turnaround Isaiah, off target, the rebound snapped down by Mahorn, wheels the pass ahead, and Laimbeer was there. Mike Jaminski didn't see it coming. Edwards into traffic and stripped and fouled. The foul is on Rick Mahorn.
Back now, the 76ers have Mahorn, and he has definitely been one of the reasons the 76ers have improved.
Sixers at 52-28. They are 18-22 on the road. Jaminski raises up baseline and buries the jumper. 9:45 left to play here in the first period as we're just underway. The Pistons leading by 2 as Thomas misses right in front of the rim, and that came up short. JD stops and pops and got it.
He does that as well as any guard in the league. Comes down, 3-on-3 situation, 4-on-4. He's able to pull up and hit that 18-footer from the top of the key.
Dumars, baseline, and that's good. Most valuable player in the playoffs a year ago. Hersey answers right back. There's that other matchup that we talked about.
Had four days off, but will he continue to play him 40 minutes or so? I don't think so. I think he'll try to keep it around 28 to 30 minutes to give him a good play. Give him some good play tonight, because tomorrow night they go, what, to Atlanta? Indiana
tomorrow night. So the Sixers, who faced the Pacers last night, and Detroit. Tonight, Rodman knocks one down. Detroit will face the Sixers here in Auburn Hills, and then fly out early in the morning for Indiana and face the Pacers tomorrow night. And that becomes a large game for Indiana. Backing in Jaminski. Good move on Laimbeer as he fell away, missed it, but the ball pops right back to him. He fires again, scores this time.
Bill Laimbeer is playing Mike Jaminski to turn to the baseline, which a lot of centers do. That time, Mike took advantage and went right to the middle, missed a shot, but retrieved his own rebound.
Edwards, ball away. That won't go. Hersey, the rebound over Rodman. 15-14. Bang, Johnny Dawkins. And that quickly, 17-14. Sixers in front. 4:54 left to play in the first period. Isaiah Thomas with a belt high right hand dribble straight at Johnny Dawkins at the top. Dumars fakes and fires. Misses. Rebound, Charles Barkley. Charles with a ton of rebounds early, has yet to score. Jaminski in the lane. Little jump hook is a beauty.
Mike was able to beat Bill Laimbeer down the floor and get great post-up position on the left side. Good feed in.
Smart play by the Sixers so far. They're going right at what Detroit is giving them. And so far, that's been the lane right around the basket area. Either Mahorn or Jaminski. 19-14. Sixers by 5. And they can stretch that here. A 6-zip run by the Sixers. Hersey, and an offensive foul. Capers with a call. Hersey doesn't like it. Neither does Jimmy Lynam, nor does Freddie Carter. Nor does Steve Mitch.
No, I've seen more offensive fouls in this game than I've seen all year. They don't call that often.
That didn't look like there was all that much contact.
No, it really didn't.
19-14. And a whistle. Yep. There's an offensive foul. It's on Laimbeer, and that's 2 on Laimbeer. And here comes John Sally into the game.
Bill Laimbeer got thrown out of a game the other night. He starts to go out of this game, and he kind of gives Charles Barkley a little elbow.
Charles said he wanted to fight him.
That would not be a match, a good match.
You're right.
Charles would kill him.
Sally, the rebound off the miss. You are correct. I
think you might be able to drop him.
Let's not go wild. Let's not go crazy. Rodman, jumper from outside, bang again.
Well, if you want anybody to shoot
exactly
on Detroit's team, it's Dennis Rodman. He hit 2 nice turnaround jump shots and a nice 18-footer right there on Charles. I think you're going to have to move up on him a little bit, Charles. And there's definite hold on Dennis Rodman. Call the foul.
Boy, they are banging each other in the low box. Turning Charles off target. Rebound Isaiah running. Thomas, a bounce and then scores and one. They take it away. Good call.
It was a good call. It was a nice move, though, yeah.
That was one of those highlight moves.
Take a look at that move.
Wow. I thought he made the pass.
Yeah. Oh, no replay on
that. That was sensational.
That was a good move.
I'm going to put that on a highlight film. Pretend like there was no call at the end of it, right?
There you go.
19-16. Dawkins. Stutter steps in. Fires. Short. Rebound. Mahorn. Back up. No. Rebound. Charles back up and he jams it home. And then he and Rodman collide and get tangled up underneath the basket. The rim, Charlie hung on that baby. And it didn't snap back up like it was supposed to. It's back up now.
Yeah, he came down and let Dennis Rodman know that he was still there and was able to score on him, kind of give him a little pop on the way down. Said, you can only play defense on me so long.
Pick and roll, Edwards jams. Dumars the assist. Pretty play. 21-18. Sixers by 3 with 2:14 left to play, first quarter. Rodman and Charles again leaning on each other. Hersey unloads. No. Edwards the rebound. Dumars. They tried that little pick and roll again. Didn't work. There's Rodman in the lane. No, and he scored. Just kind of curled in and was the second option.
Well, you get so preoccupied with what's going on the left side that guys can slide in there unless you're fully aware of what's going on the opposite side.
Hersey trying to post up Benny Johnson. Hawk on a drive. Rodney bangs into Rodman. No foul. Dishes. Charles pounds it home.
They'll give it to you once, Dennis, but they're not going to give it to you again. You got to stand up there and take it, which he did, but they're not going to give you the charge again.
23-20. Sixers by 3. Neil Funk, Steve Mix at the Palace at Auburn Hills. Driving Edwards, he's fouled, and that won't go. Hit the heel to get up. Dawkins, along with Ron Anderson, Hersey Hawkins, Charles Barkley, and Rick Mahorn. Hawk, ball away. Not there. Rebound, Rodman.
No arc on the ball. Hawk's got to get it up.
Isaiah lob and picked out of the air by Charles. Great defensive play by Charlie. Driving, Dawkins. No, Charles had the rebound, lost it, and here comes Isaiah. Running the other way. Thomas, little jumper. That won't go. Rebound, Ron Anderson. A little bit of a track meet, and then Ron Anderson says, whoa, let's slow it down here.
John Sally is now on Charles Barkley. See if they can get him the ball. See if Charles can make a move on him.
Barkley fires over him and scores. Sally tried to take away the drive and gave him ground outside. Thomas, Rodman, Benny Johnson, Sally, and Edwards. And they've got everybody out high now as Isaiah works the left sideline right in front of Chuck Taylor in the Detroit bench. Isaiah, little isolation for him, goes up, around the rim and off. Rebound, Ron Anderson again. 2 big rebounds, and that's the end of the period. So, we have played 1 quarter. The Sixers 25, the Pistons 22.
March through the playoffs.
Charles, and he scores.
You know what's going to be interesting in this ball game, if the 76ers can get up 10 or 12 points, they're up 8 right now. We'll see what the Detroit Pistons will do, because this is not a game they need. Obviously, the 76ers do need this one, but we'll see what if Chuck kind of starts pulling guys and playing everybody. We'll just wait and see if they have that 10 or 12 point lead.
Aguirre, jumper good, baseline left.
If they can get a 10 or 12 point lead.
Well, you know, you knew the Sixers were ready. They were the adrenaline, if nothing else. I think if you were ever going to talk about fatigue being a factor, you can almost wipe that out just because of the adrenaline. They really pumped up. Ball tapped out of bounds, and Kenny Payne will check in. Payne will see early minutes once again this evening, and again we mentioned that in the absence of Derek Smith, kind of Kenny's mentor, and Bob Thornton.
And 13 minutes last night, he had 10 points, hit 5 of 6 shots, so quality minutes for the first-round draft pick.
Charles, a rainbow that won't go down, and Isaiah, the long rebound. Isaiah tried to go behind his back and threw it away. And a jump ball called. Isaiah with an error there in the transition. Kenny Payne will step in with Sally.
Charles Barkley will try to steal this tip. John Sally should be able to get it. Now Charles won't be able to steal it because we've got 3 Detroit Pistons very close together.
Ball pops up in the air, and we're going to do it all over again. Capers hammers it on the floor a few times, and then threw it up. Sally just caught it. They're going to do it again, I think.
He can't catch it.
Well, Jake indicated like that it was a poor toss.
John Sally tipped it and then caught it, which is totally illegal.
Jake couldn't believe it. Jake wanted to throw it up again, wanted him to do it all over.
No, that was enough. Throw it up twice. If we can't get it, the heck with it. Give it to the team in red.
32-24, an 8.6er lead. Dawkins, Anderson, Payne, Barkley, and Mahorn. Barkley against Sally. Backdoor Anderson running in, and a foul. Good pass by Charles.
An excellent Don Anderson catches. Bill Laimbeer comes over, and for Bill, that's his third.
Anderson, nothing but net.
Number 53, James Edwards checks back in.
Edwards comes back in. Laimbeer comes out.
Number 1.
Scott Brooks checks in for the Sixers.
Ron Anderson, last 3 games, been averaging 17.5 points per game, which is tremendous coming off the bench.
And he makes the second one, and we're going to see Kurt Nymphius in a moment as he heads down to the scorer's table.
76ers going to their half-court trap.
Baseline jumper. Nope. And the rebound, Rick Mahorn. Brooks. For Kenny Payne. He unloads. Nope. The air ball picked out of the air by Ron Anderson. That wouldn't go, and Sally the rebound. And a reach-in foul.
Quick call. Good call, though, on by Jake.
Anderson. Barkley trying to post Sally. Ron Anderson from outside, knocked it in. Ron Anderson. 36-25. Aguirre. Baseline goes up, no, taps it up, and it's good. Aguirre following his own miss.
Another tremendous post-up player for his size, isn't he? Got a lot of strength going to the basket.
Ron Anderson, fall away, short. Rebound, Benny Johnson. Weaving through traffic, fires on the move, in and out. Rebound, Isaiah lays it off, and layup good.
Very unselfish play that time by Isaiah. Realized that possibly having the shot blocked from behind, dished it off to Mark Aguirre, who made the easy one.
After a 9-2 run by the Sixers, now it's Detroit with a little run of their own. Kenny Payne, a bounce to Charles. Barkley turns, fires, scores. Charles right in Sally's face. Scott Brooks with a dribble at the top. Anderson and Barkley, two-man game. Anderson wheeling, dealing, firing, no. Rebound, Benny Johnson. Benny right by Charles, kicks it out. Isaiah pump fakes. Windmills went up with the left hand, no. Rebound fought for, tapped out by Aguirre and run down. Isaiah again, short. Rebound Edwards, back up, and he is really hammered as he and Barkley go at each other, and they step between those two.
James took a little offense to being hit 3 or 4 times going to the basket, but it's something that the Detroit Pistons lived on last year.
I'll tell you what, they weren't taking any prisoners, I can tell you that.
Absolutely not. And you don't want to take prisoners in a game of this magnitude.
Timeout taken by Detroit with 6:51 left to play. They're in the first half, a 7-point Philadelphia lead. 3, Sixers by 5 with 6:12 left to play. First half. Ball popped out of Scott Brooks' hands, and a reach-in foul on Scott Brooks. Trying to get it back.
Might want to think about getting J.D. back into the ball game. Scotty may be a little bit nervous in this situation. First time he's really been in a game of this significance.
I'll tell you what, maybe his best game of the year, if you remember, was here at the Palace.
Yes, it was.
The last time these two clubs played each other, even though the Sixers were beaten at the wire in overtime, but Scotty had a nice game against Detroit. Benny Johnson buries the first free throw. 38-34. Sixers by 4. They've led most of the way here from the outset. Makes the second. The Sixers lead is 3 as they bring it up. Scott Brooks. Anderson fights his way out to accept the pass on the left side against Aguirre on a drive. Nope. Rebound Charles and a whistle. Now Charles with the offensive rebound, and the foul is on Sally.
Ron Anderson able to get by Mark Aguirre. Shot was missed. Charles Barkley goes up. John Sally fouls him from behind. Johnny Dawkins into the ballgame now for Scott Brooks.
Charles makes his first free throw try and has 11 points. And 7 rebounds already. Makes a pair. 12 in the game for the Sixers captain. 40-35, Sixers by 5. And the Sixers show trap again. High post, Edwards. Gunned underneath, Sally is there.
Great feed that time by James Edwards. John Sally wide open. That's what happens with that half-court press. If you get the ball in the middle and start moving the ball around quickly, there's going to be somebody open. That time John Sally was.
Hersey popped out against Benny Johnson. Barkley, the ISO against Sally. Backs him in, turns him, goes up in the left hand and scores. Great move by Charles.
That was a great move.
His hands in midair. 17.7 rebounds for Charles. Tap, out back, will run down. Benny Johnson had it and then lost it, and it's going to belong to Philadelphia.
Sports writers from Philadelphia were kind of scattering down there.
Bailed out.
Yeah, Benny came flying at him. Charles Barkley has Philadelphia's last 9 points.
And Mahorn checks in, and Charles will get a rest. Hersey, quick drive, finger roll, no. Rebound, Dennis Rodman. Rodman with 4 rebounds. Well, it seems like he's had more.
You aren't kidding. It seems like they're all the ones that Charles has missed.
Not too sure about the guy running the computer here. There's a miss, and there's another Rodman rebound.
Leading offensive rebounder on this team, about 4.3 per game. Second in the league to Charles.
Aguirre checked in. He wanted some kind of an illegal defense call. Didn't get it.
Jimmy Lanham's up saying you just can't let a guy go boom, 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 dribble, 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 and back a guy down without sending somebody at you. 45-39. Sixers. 3:27 left to play first half.
Posted Mahorn. He wheels by Edwards. Offensive foul. He hooked him.
Oh, he did hook him.
But not, well, wait. I'll tell you why that call was made. Let me tell you why. Capers had a clear shot, as clear a shot as we did, at the hook on the drive.
Yes.
It wasn't like there were players between him and...
Take a look at it. I mean, it's right there's the hook. It wasn't much of a hook.
No, it wasn't.
Capers
You're
had
right.
the view from our angle.
Yeah,
and it
perfect
wasn't,
angle. Rodman outside the three-point circle. 7 on the shot clock. Edwards pump fakes and fires and misses that. Rodman, the offensive rebound.
Relentless on the offensive board, Dennis Rodman is.
They were one and done early, and now they're starting to bang the offensive glass. Aguirre posted again. Backs and turns and scores.
Thanks to the offensive rebounding by Dennis Rodman, Mark Aguirre was able to make that shot on the multiple opportunity.
Reasons why. And Pat Croce will tell us about cross-training in his fitness tip, and we'll have all the highlight stats and scores from around the NBA.
Well, the cross-training with Pat Croce, what?
Popcorn and beer.
Popcorn and beer, get off.
Popcorn and run to the refrigerator, get beer.
Get off the couch, go to the refrigerator and back.
Cross-training. 51-43, missed, and a rebound, Charles Barkley.
We have a lot of fun with Pat Croce, don't we? Fitness tips.
Jaminski spins and scores. Good move, Mike Jaminski. That time, as Steve indicated, he turned to the baseline.
Came to the middle with a little jump hook. That time, Mark Aguirre was playing him that way. He just turned baseline, made the nice jumper.
A little pick and roll. Edwards slapped around, but no call. Dumars off his leg, out of bounds. It's going to belong to the Sixers. Ron Anderson's going to try and get in. Did he get there in time? He did. Ron Anderson got there in time, so they're going to let him come into the game. And he will get Hersey.
That was quick.
Well, Jimmy was watching. He had Ron ready, and as soon as they ruled that it was Sixers basketball, he yelled, "Ron, get to the scores table," and he did.
Couple mismatches out there. Vinnie Johnson being guarded by Ron Anderson, so when JD makes his move into the paint area, Ron Anderson should be open for the jump shot.
Dawkins, stutter steps in, loose, picked up by Edwards. Gunned ahead to Vinnie Johnson. He runs in off the glass, missed it, and that's it for the first half. We have played one half of basketball, and the Sixers now own a double-digit lead, 53-43, and a very physical first half of play here in Auburn Hills. That's it for the first half, 53-43 Sixers. Stay tuned now for Sixers halftime with Neil Hartman.
As a Sixer, there is no doubt his steady play this season is a big reason the 76ers have won more than 50 games. But according to Charles, a number of players are viable MVP candidates.
I really don't think there's an MVP. I think there are too many good players in the league. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Karl Malone, Akeem Olajuwon. I don't think anybody can pick an MVP. You can put the names in a hat and pull one and come up with an MVP. But I want to win it because I get a lot of money if I win it.
He got my vote. You know, he playing great. You know, he doing a lot of great things for the 76ers. For a guy to be 6'4" and a half, you know, he got my MVP vote.
Should be what you do, not only as far as individual statistics, but probably more importantly, what you do for the team, the franchise, the organization. And right now, this team is fighting for the division championship and going to have their best season in many, many years. And I think Charles is the force behind it.
I think it's about time that he gets the recognition he deserves. I think because we're not seeing on TV as much, you know, people really don't get to see how good of a team we have. And of course, Charles has had good numbers all the years he's been in the league, but I think you have to be on a winning team. Unfortunately, to get MVP recognition, and, you know, hopefully this year be the year he finally gets it, and, you know, he deserves it.
Sixers have a 3-point lead. Mike Jaminski very active on the offensive end in the first half for Jimmy Lynam's squad. Here he gives the Sixers a 19-14 advantage. Chuck Daly knows the Sixers can be tough. The Sixers have beaten the Pistons 2 out of 3 times this year. Nice pass, Dumars to James Edwards, 21-18. Pistons within 3. Joe Dumars will do it again. This time the recipient of the nice feed is Dennis Rodman. Rodman with 8 first-quarter points. Pistons down by 1, but look at the nice pass. Hersey Hawkins to Charles Barkley. Barkley gives the Sixers a 3-point lead, and Jimmy Lanham, he's biting the nails, a little nervous tonight, huh? Jimmy can win the title tonight. Pretty feed from Rick Mahorn to Ron Anderson. Anderson coming off the bench with 8 points, and boy, the Sixers needed that, but Barkley was just extremely active in that first half. Nice layup with the left hand, and he'll do it with the left hand again with the little finger roll, and the Sixers find themselves up at the break 53-43, and they're doing it with nice physical play. Defensively, they're holding down the Pistons to only 40%. Sixers shooting 47%. Sixers missing only one free throw. The Pistons only 75% from the line. Everything else is relatively close. Now, the scoring leader, Charles Barkley, 17.7 rebounds. Mike Jaminski with 10 points. Johnny Dawkins with 8. Ron Anderson chipping in with 8 off the bench. And Hersey Hawkins with 6. Meanwhile, James Edwards with 14. Boy, the big guy has just been terrific this year for Chuck Daly. Mark Aguirre with 10, also off the bench. Rodman with 8. Dumars and Sally. Where is Isaiah tonight? No scoring from Isaiah.
Defense in the second period. In the first period, Detroit Pistons shot 47%, but all of a sudden the defense started to clamp down. They only allowed Detroit to shoot 33% from the field in the second period. Consequently, Detroit right now is shooting just 39%.
And that was the difference, really. Everything else was pretty even.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, Charles Barkley hit a three-pointer. Hawk hit a three-pointer, and that, Detroit doesn't have any. But that's really the difference. And we said all along that it's going to come down to defense. And so far, the 76ers have been the ones to shine in that area.
Free throws, both clubs shot 11, or rather shot 12. The Sixers made 11 and Detroit made 9 rebounds, 24-23, a single rebound advantage for the 76ers. Turnovers, 6 for Philadelphia, 7 for Detroit.
Of the 76ers.
53-43. It's not as if the Sixers have not enjoyed success against Detroit. They are 2-1 against the Pistons coming into this game. Hersey from outside misses. Rodman tapped at it, and Laimbeer controlled it. And the one game they lost here at the Palace, they should have won. Thomas, short jumper is good. So the Pistons get on the board first to begin the third period.
That's a big bucket for Isaiah Thomas, as he had just 2 points on 1 for 8 shooting in the first half. Certainly would hate to see him get off.
Dawkins, and the ball poked at by Isaiah, who hooked it from behind, and it's out of bounds. Going to belong to the Sixers with 13 on the shot clock. Charles Barkley, baseline right to pull the trigger. And looks, and looks. Hersey picked up by Laimbeer for a moment. Mahorn swung to Dawkins. JD's fall away is good.
Boy, he pulls up nicely and fades away, doesn't he? He gets a nice arc on the ball. Makes it almost impossible to block.
Isaiah down the lane, scoops and scores.
A little hip hop.
Yeah. Almost a jump stop and then continues on. 55-47. Hersey and Charles. Here's the matchup we talked about. Barkley and Rodman. Jaminski over Laimbeer off target as Laimbeer ran at him. And the Pistons push it up. Isaiah bobbing and weaving. Jumper on the heel of the rim is no good. Rebound, Charles Barkley. Charles with 8 boards and 17 points in a magnificent first half. Jaminski blocked from behind. Mahorn has it. Dawkins for 3. Nope. The rebound tapped out. And they'll get another crack. Multiple shot trip. That won't go. Rodman finally collars the rebound. And a foul. Johnny Dawkins inadvertently got tangled up with Rodman.
Move couldn't get by him. Charles Barkley stayed right there. Charles is a much better defensive player than people give him credit for.
Hersey for Mahorn. He backs in on Edwards. Spins around. Throws up a wild shot, and Laimbeer picks it out of the air. And then Mahorn slapped at it and poked it out of bounds, and it's going to belong to Detroit. Isaiah measures a 2 and then missed that. Rebound, Mike Jaminski. And a tightrope right in front of the Sixer bench. Hersey Hawkins doubled, stripped by Dumars, or by Isaiah, loose, and then a jump ball.
Mugg down in the left corner.
Isaiah, Dumars, and Hersey.
That was a super double team.
It's three pretty good players in a heat right there.
Yeah. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, double teaming Hawk as he made his move down on the left baseline. Take a look at the double team. Good strip that time. Hawk kept his eye on the ball, was able to retrieve it, dove on the floor. Here come two more guys.
This may be a technical. It's Laimbeer and Mahorn. Let's see who they get. They may get both of them. Yeah. Yep. A tee on Rick Mahorn, a tee on Bill Laimbeer. They just would not quit jawing, and they had been warned time and time and time again. And they continued to jaw, and finally, Jake had had enough, and he just said, okay, that'll be one on you, one on you. Now he's going to make Mahorn get back in there. No.
You don't have to stand there.
No, I know, but he's going to make him get around the circle somewhere. And the tap won by Mahorn. Played a little chess game and won. Johnny driving on the rim and good. Great move by J.D.
It's amazing, wasn't it? Rick Mahorn went out to the top of the key and said, here, just tip it to me, I'll get it, no problem.
The only reason he went out there was to kind of make Jake mad.
Yeah.
In traffic, Isaiah, and Edwards is hammered from behind by Hersey Hawkins.
Freddie Carter was yelling three in the lane, and I'll tell you what, James Edwards was in there every bit of it.
Now Jake is going to tell Freddie to sit down.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Freddie's really not allowed to be standing up and hollering and screaming like that, although the referees do let assistant coaches do that on occasion.
Edwards makes the first free throw, 57-52. 57-53, a 4.6er lead. It was 10, it was 10 at the half. The Sixers trying to fight off an early surge here in the third period by Detroit. 7:33 left. Hersey, loose and stolen by Rodman. Here comes Isaiah. Good bounce to Dumars. Jumper, in and out. Rebound, Mike Jaminski. Well, he had a look on his face that time as he rebounded that baby, like, don't come in here. And there's a foul on Edwards as Hersey tried to go up.
Good move by Hawk that time. He made his move into the paint. James Edwards came over to block Hawk's path. Take a look at it. Get James leaning forward. Drew the contact, throws up the shot. Just like all good offensive players are supposed to do. He'll go to the line to shoot two.
Hersey.
You see all these people behind the basket with the miss it signs?
Yes.
They're all going to the Chris Dudley School of Free Throw Shooting at the end of the year.
Well, you wouldn't need those signs.
They're prepared.
They don't want up say make it for Chris.
Man missed what, 13 in a row at one point?
No, it was up to 16 or 18 over 3 games. No, 18 over 3 games.
Isn't that amazing?
And he made 2 in the next game, and one of them he thanked him. Laimbeer from outside. That's a 3 for Bill Laimbeer. He can shoot the 3.
He really can. He's shooting almost 36% from that area. So you've got to really watch Bill Laimbeer.
Dawkins, no, Laimbeer the rebound. Outlet is ahead to Isaiah running. Now here comes Rodman and the scoop in the score. Rodman filling the lane in the middle. And the Pistons to within 1 and the crowd to their feet. And Rodman, a la Rick Mahorn at the Spectrum, encouraging the crowd. Charles, who's had a monster so far, and he started to drive and a whistle, although no one could really hear it.
Well, that time, see, Charles Barkley had the ball up at the three-point line at the top of the key. He made his move, and Dennis Rodman has been able to get away with putting 2 hands on Charles all night long, and that time they caught him and made the call.
Do you see Rodman's haircut, though? Holy cow. Barkley and a hand check foul. But that's on Rodman. It is.
It is. He's got a Lexus.
That's his daughter.
Yeah, that's his daughter. Got it scratched into the back. There it is. You'd take a good look at it.
I was going to say, if that was his girlfriend, you'd have a little problem getting a date, wouldn't you?
Well, if I put my kids' names in my hair, I wouldn't have any hair left.
David Greenwood, who is not off used by Chuck Daly, is going to come in. Barkley makes the free throw, and he's going to get Rodman.
Now let's take a look and see if Charles goes right to David Greenwood. Like you said, he hasn't played much.
Well, he'll give up fouls. Whether or not he's got no chance, I wouldn't think of. If Charles wants to score. And Charles missed the second. A 2-point Sixer lead. Pistons could tie. Isaiah Thomas. Poked loose. Barkley lead is for Johnny Dawkins. Back to Charles. Blocked by Edwards and a foul. Or rather by Greenwood. Greenwood. And he did stop the layup with a dunk. And Charles gets to the free throw line.
Good defense by J.D. to tap it away from Isaiah. J.D. probably had the layup if he wanted to take it in. Realized Charles Barkley was coming. Second leading field goal shooter in the league. Might as well give it up. Charles misses the free throw though.
Greenwood and Hastings. Greenwood's in the game now. He and Hastings are about as deep on the Piston bench as you can get. They rarely play. He's in there now. Charles makes the second one. 61-58. A 3-point Sixer lead. And the Sixers tighten it defensively now. Running down the lane, Isaiah short. Greenwood kept it alive. And the ball run down by Hersey Hawkins. Jaminski from outside. Nope. Rebound Isaiah. Chuck Daly says slow it down. Charles motors in. Won't go, but he'll get to the line, and Isaiah the foul.
Jimmy stomps his foot about the same time that Charles Barkley jumped up and down because he realized he missed a shot. Take a look. Comes Isaiah. He's not afraid to put his body in front of Charles Barkley.
Well, let's put it this way, a glancing blow at best.
Well, I'm not sure I'd have the nerve to do that, what Isaiah did. I'll tell you what, you take a look at anybody around the league, there isn't a guy with more heart than Isaiah. He'll stand up to anybody or get in anybody's way.
Charles is short with that one. And the crowd really on him. They remember the last time the Sixers were here. Ron Anderson checks in. Mike Jaminski comes off. Mahorn, Barkley, Anderson, Hawkins, and Dawkins now.
Charles just 6 for 9 from the free throw line.
And he missed again. The rebound, Laimbeer.
He's fading away from the free throw line when he shoots. He's got to stand up there on that second one especially.
You're watching Sixers basketball on PHL-17 in Philadelphia. Neil Funk, Steve Mix. They feed Edwards and he jams it home. 61-60. Pistons have scratched and clawed, but they haven't been able to seize the lead. They trailed by 10 at the half, and the Sixers with a 1-point lead in the ball here. Dawkins, Anderson. Laimbeer gives him ground. Driving. Blocked by Edwards, but knocked to the deck as Laimbeer went down. A foul.
Right by that right leg.
(62-60). Anderson with a pair. There, the shovel is for Charles, and he pounds it home.
Not a great pass from J.D. down around knee level. Charles almost bobbled it, but was able to pick it up, regain himself, and go in for the dunk.
And they got half of the 10-point lead back. It's 65-60. Isaiah Thomas, jumper, not there. Rebound, Johnny Dawkins. Dawkins stops and fires and misses that, and the rebound hauled down by Greenwood. Lob is for Aguirre. He goes up, scores, and he's fouled.
Don't foul him, Ron. You got to foul him good. Don't allow him to get that ball up around his chest because players in this league can continue to the basket. Ron Anderson reached around. Take a look at it. You see Ron doing a good job defensively. Ball lobbed over his head. There you see the foul. You don't just whack at him. You grab him 2 hands and don't allow him to shoot the ball.
Aguirre settles himself in. Missed it. Rebound, Rick Mahorn. 65-62. Dawkins. And Mahorn has Bedford posted as he checked in. And they're trying desperately to get it to Ricky. Goes up and scores.
Good, strong move. Ron Anderson finally able to feed Rick Mahorn, who was waiting for that feed, was able to make a nice move by Bedford. Once that double team comes, he does find the open man on occasion.
Barkley against Greenwood. So they attack that. Charles on a drive and a foul. That'll put Charles back on the free throw line. He is now 5 for 9. Charles again on the rim and good. So Charles makes a pair. And again, the 5-point lead. The lead was 10 at the half. 2 minutes, 19 seconds left to play in the third period. Bedford turns, blocked by Mahorn, but a foul. Hawkins and Dawkins. Bedford missed a pair. Rebound tapped way out long and controlled by Joe Dumars. Aguirre, that's good for 3. Aguirre, a home run off the left side.
Ballable opportunities, they'll kill you in the course of a ball game. That's about the third one that Detroit has taken advantage of this evening.
69-67. Hawkins from long range, no. Rebound hauled down by David Greenwood.
Detroit has an opportunity to tie here.
Aguirre. Spinning and twisting. Greenwood raises up. Jumper short. On the run comes Hersey. Lead Anderson. Driving layup is a beauty. In the transition, Sixers get the field goal. And the lead is up to 4. 71-67. A minute 13 left. Third quarter. The Palace in Auburn Hills, the setting. Sixers lost in OT the last time they played here in a game that they really had all but one. Jumper missed and slapped out. Here comes Dawkins running. Shovel to Anderson, and he is grabbed.
76ers, the last 2 times they have had the ball, they have had the numbers on the fast break. Ron Anderson made the layup the last time. This time, he's the recipient of a nice pass from J.D., and he's fouled. He has an opportunity to stretch that lead to 6.
Isaiah Thomas checks back in to the goal line.
72-67. Ron Anderson, 13 points off the Sixer bench. And in fact, he is the only player off the bench to score. Aguirre lost the handle, picked up by Vinnie Johnson. He missed it at point-blank range. Sixers run on the break again. Dawkins. Hersey's open. 3. Kaboom!
Once again, the 76ers with the advantage.
And an 8-point lead. So after several runs by Detroit, Bedford short. Rebound tapped, no. Tapped again, no. Dawkins has it, and he runs again. 10 seconds left in the period. J.D. and an offensive foul. And Jimmy screaming me saying, look at the clock. Look at the clock.
8.2 seconds left. That time you pull it out. You take the shot with 3-4 seconds to go. That way you don't give Detroit the opportunity to come down and cut into the lead.
Isaiah streaks by everybody at the horn, missed it on a drive. So we have played 3. The Sixers 75, the Pistons 67. We'll be back to the Palace right after this.
At that time, the 76ers come out with their full court trap. Ron Anderson, anticipating the long pass over his head, was right there to retrieve it. Turnover, Detroit.
Lead, Philadelphia. 75-67. Anderson, jumper short, rebound, Isaiah Thomas.
Detroit made a good run at him. They had
made a couple of runs.
Yeah, they did. Had it down to 1. All of a sudden, you take a look up, and the Sixers have an 8-point lead.
Sixers did not fold. They withstood 2 good runs by Detroit. One led by that man, Isaiah Thomas. Benny Johnson, jumper is good. Tough shooting year for Benny Johnson, but he began to play much better after the injury to Dumars when he was inserted in the starting lineup. And now he'll be back on the bench.
Yeah, he's shooting 43%.
Here comes Benny with a steal and the driving layup. And a timeout taken by Jimmy Lanham right away. 75-71. The Sixers lead is 4 with 10:49 left to play for your ball game. Charlie, jumper good. Crowd wanted to walk, but
you can pick it up. You just can't dribble it again.
And Chuck knew that and sat down.
And so did Charlie.
Benny Johnson, not this time, but he's knocked to the deck.
That was all right. That was a good foul that time.
Caught it on the box. Backs in, guns it out. Jaminsky buries it.
Great feed that time as the entire Detroit defense was worried about Charles Barkley making that move. Left Mike Jaminsky wide open. Mike just took his time and knocked it down.
Now the two clubs have just traded basket for basket. Isaiah Edwards battles Jaminsky.
I don't think there's any contact in this league. Watch those guys post up.
Edwards' fall away is good. Mahorn had to come with help, and he got there, but Edwards made the shot anyway. They ran that little pick and roll.
The last 2 games, James Edwards has averaged better than 25 points.
Mahorn falls down as he and Edwards battle, and Edwards tried to give
him the old
Rick
Mahorn move.
Dawkins for Mahorn. Mahorn against Edwards. In the lane, jumper, short, rebound. Charles had it, and a loose ball foul. That's going to go against Detroit, and that may be on Rodman. Nope, it's on Isaiah.
See Isaiah coming over the back right there.
Now the Sixers inbound. 83-79, Philadelphia. Anderson comes off the screen. Fires, got it. Down a well that went. Ron Anderson.
You can tell
big game off the bench.
You can tell when it leaves his hand if it's going in. I mean, he squared up nicely to a basket. You can see it in the faces of the 76ers. They are getting pumped up, ready to play defense for the last 7 minutes.
15 in the game for Anderson. Edwards wheels and fires. Misses. Charles Barkley the rebound. 85-79. They fought off everything that the Pistons have thrown at them to this juncture. Mahorn wheels, scores. Great move on his pal, James Edwards.
And that was set up by the move to the middle last time. That's why I keep telling you people at home, if you've got 2 moves in the post area, one to the middle, one to the baseline, you can score all day long.
Driving Isaiah, it won't go, but he's going to get to the line. 93-84. 4:05 left. Anderson for Barkley. Barkley, ball away jumper, baseline. No, Laimbeer the rebound. Well, he had Dumars out in front of everybody and didn't see it. Isaiah turns the corner. Little jumper is good at the baseline. Now pressure by Detroit, or at least token pressure.
Oh, Isaiah just threw a punch.
A swing, and Isaiah's history.
He's gone.
Isaiah took a swipe at Mahorn, and Mahorn just stood his ground, didn't even blink. And Isaiah's gone. And Mahorn just waves goodbye to him.
Take a look. Here comes the punch.
Missed him.
I'll tell you what, that was tremendous control by Rick Mahorn. Not to throw a punch back, because all of a sudden that would have been both guys gone, and the 76ers need Rick Mahorn.
And Isaiah stops in front of the Sixer bench.
Catches a couple words from Hawk.
And a little pat on the shoulder for Nymphius and leaves.
Yeah. Rick Mahorn, take a look. Here it is once again. I don't know what Isaiah was complaining about. Here comes the right hand. Caught him across the head. Got to be a technical.
You know what? It's got to be worse than that. I mean, that's about as flagrant as you could get.
Yeah.
We'll see what Rod Thorne does, but
well, that'll be a biggie.
It should be.
That'll be $3, $4, or $5 grand right there.
Mahorn kind of lined right. It hit the front of the rim and bounced in. 94-86. Yeah, I mean, Rick was just kind of fending him off, but there wasn't really all that much contact, and all of a sudden Isaiah just...
That's 5-team foul.
Wound up and clocked him. Well, they got 5 up on the board, but I think was that just the technical and no personal? That's a good point our producer makes. They guess, why did Mahorn shoot the technical if that's all that was? Whatever. It's 94-86. Dumars running and an offensive foul, Dumars. And now it's the Pistons who are a bit frustrated. Hersey comes back on. Here's Dumars down the lane. I didn't see it, to be honest with you. Unless it was at the top when he started the drive. Hawkins for Mahorn against Laimbeer. Dawkins. Air ball. Edwards. And nowhere to go with it. Laimbeer for 3. The home run good. 94-89, Philadelphia. And a timeout, Philadelphia. They lead by 5 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in their quest for the Atlantic. Still some work left to be done. My partner, Steve Mix, has headed for the Sixers locker room. And if there's excitement there, we'll have it for you, of course. But first, the Sixers have got to get this done. The ball poked over and back, and no call. Barkley drives and an offensive foul. Now Jake is telling Chuck Daly as he backpedals, the ball came off a leg and rolled into the backcourt. Here's the drive by Charles. And the offensive foul call. Edwards catches baseline. Jumper on the rim, no. Kept alive. Finally, Jaminski. Big rebound. Poked away by Dumars, but it's going to belong to the Sixers. They've not had a field goal in the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. You talk about defensive intensity by both clubs in stretches. Now it's Detroit trying to tighten the screws. Barkley catches, Rodman fouls. Minute 48 left. A 5-point Sixer lead. Thomas has been ejected. A punching foul as he threw a punch at Rick Mahorn and was tossed. In the game. 32, and more importantly, stretches the lead to 95-89. Missed the second, Laimbeer the rebound. Minute 44 left, Dumars. Vinnie Johnson, somebody got a little piece of that. The ball batted up in the air, Rodman has it. Laimbeer's right behind him, he didn't see it. Vinnie Johnson turns and fires, missed that. And then Barkley pulled out of bounds by James Edwards. And the foul on Edwards. Line fired a jumper. That didn't go down, and Vinnie Johnson tried at the baseline, but wasn't the greatest shot selection in the world either. Would probably have been better advised to try to find an open teammate. Charles makes the first, 96-89. The Sixers pulling away. It's like pulling teeth. They're doing it at the free throw line. He makes a pair, timeout, Chuck Daly. So it's flight 200 at 9:50 tomorrow morning in Philadelphia jumper, Isaiah wouldn't go, and Charles, the rebound, ripped it away from Benny Johnson. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Then it's 16. Sixers trying to balance the floor out. Barkley, baseline, jumper, got it, nothing but net. 99-89, a 10-point lead, and we have Steve Mix in the locker room, and we'll have an extended post-game show with Steve in the locker room and with Derek Smith back in the PHL-17 studios with Neil Hartman. So Derek will be on hand. Steve Mix will be in the locker room live. All of that following what would now appear to be a Sixer win, 99-91, the lead in the ball with 40 seconds left, and Dumars grabs Dawkins out back. Since 1983, and it was in that year that the Sixers went on to win the World Championship. A team that was down and a lot of people thought out a couple of years ago. Battled back last year. Jimmy Lynam had his first full year as the head coach. And 146 in this year have put together a run since the All-Star break that has been amazing. Timeout, the Sixers. Close now to the Atlantic Division Championship. Point lead, that's the advantage the Sixers had at the half. They led by 10 then. Some runs by the Pistons, but not enough as the Sixers defense has been magnificent. Driving Benny Johnson, no, Barkley another rebound. And Charles, the wondrous one, has had a huge game here tonight at the Palace in Auburn Hills. And again, I remind you that the team, the Atlantic Division champions, the Sixers, will be returning to Philadelphia on a Northwest flight. It's flight 200, and it arrives in Philadelphia at 9:50, assuming it's on time. Philadelphia International Airport, 9:50 tomorrow morning. Northwest Airlines flight 200. Sixers, your Atlantic Division champions. And a timeout, Detroit with 30 and 3/10 seconds left, and the Sixers 103, the Pistons 91.
1 or 2 minutes spreading that stuff around. It's going to be a wild, madcap array of fun in here. I'll tell you that. They've got the locker rooms all taped up with plastic bags. Rick Mahorn's going to be in here spreading that champagne everywhere. They're taping it all up. Back to you, Neil.
All right, Steve, you're going to be one wet human being before this evening is over, I have a feeling. The Sixers, 103-91. 30 and 3/10 seconds left. We're joined courtside by Matt Dobby, Public Relations Director of the Detroit Pistons. Here's the lob for Rodman. Caught it at the baseline, and Edwards will jam it home. The Sixers concede the dunk and a whistle on the inbound pass and a delay of game warning against the Pistons. So the Sixers will have won the Atlantic Division for the first time since '83. And, of course, that'll mean that the game against Boston will be simply for pride, as the Celtics will be eliminated from any possibility of tying or going by the 76ers. And the Sixers will enjoy the home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs, which begin next week. The Pistons, who they will have defeated here tonight, likewise will begin playoff action as they defend their world championship opponents to be determined. Detroit still has to go to Indiana tomorrow night to face the Pacers. The Sixers return home and play Boston, as I said, on Sunday. 105-93, 26 seconds away now. Dumars, they let him go in uncontested again. 105-95. Some token pressure. Here comes Mahorn. Mahorn hard to the basket, jams it, and is fouled. Now he and Laimbeer start shoving each other. And now Barkley gets into it, and he and Laimbeer. And now there are some punches thrown. Now we got not a little melee, a big melee, and there were punches thrown. There's Edwards and Mahorn. Now they're squared off, but there's a pile there. And all of this with 14 and 8/10 seconds left. There is Charles Barkley as Freddie grabs hold of him and gets him out of there. And now Jaminski has some words. This is not going to be settled instantly. Charles comes toward the Sixers bench. And Charlie... Now, it's just confusion right now, mass confusion. It started with Mahorn and Laimbeer, just some pushing underneath. And boom, all of a sudden it was Charles, Laimbeer, and then Rick re-entered, and then there was just, it was too far away at the other end to really see all that was involved. .14 and 8/10 seconds away. Now here comes Mahorn, or rather Laimbeer, walking toward the Sixer bench. And now Hastings wants a piece. And now this is not, now Jimmy Lynam is involved. And there is some pushing and shoving. Laimbeer is out of here. He is gone. Chuck Daly and Jimmy trying to restore some order. Now here goes Charles. Now Charles is by himself, and I would suggest strongly that somebody go with him. Now Charles comes back after a fan. And now here they go. Now everybody's down there. The Sixers and the Pistons. And now we got the fans involved. And this has turned ugly, my friends. This was not at all what you would have liked to have seen happen as the Sixers have clinched the Atlantic Division. But this is not what you wanted to see. Barkley Charles, they still have not gotten down the tunnel yet. But he started out of here, and no one went with, which I don't understand. No one was with him, and Laimbeer was just back into the tunnel. Laimbeer was just back into the tunnel, and there went Charles right after it. Well, that was not at all what the coaches of either club, Chuck Daly or Jimmy Lynam, had in mind. Now, Laimbeer is gone, Charles is gone, and both clubs come back out. And you would guess that somehow, some way, we're going to finish this. That thing started at one corner of the building and ended up at the opposite end of the building in the tunnel. 14 and 8/10 seconds left. It's 105-95 Philadelphia. And Jimmy has his club in front of him. Jack McCloskey down talking with Bob Weinauer. And believe me, I'll tell you what, you don't want to speculate, but there may be more than fines involved in this. 105-95. Sixers with a lead. They will win the Atlantic Division. Jimmy now just lecturing his team. Here's a look. Here's what started it. Mahorn goes in, dunks the ball. Now, it wasn't even Now, Laimbeer puts it in his face. And this is where it started. And there's the first punch, Charles. And here comes Laimbeer. And they're showing it on Arena Vision, which I don't know if that's a great idea either, but that is the start of it right there. And you can see the other players pushing, a lot of pushing and shoving. It started in that corner, got to the middle of the floor. It looked like it might be calmed down. And then as Laimbeer left, it started again in front of the Sixer bench. And then as Barkley left, it started in the tunnel. And to be honest with you, to straighten out any foul, we know that Mahorn was fouled on the drive and the dunk. We know the Sixers lead by 10. We know they'll win the Atlantic Division. But some ending with 14 and 8/10 seconds left. Mahorn missed it. Rebound Edwards. The outlet is for Gerald Henderson. Henderson will pull up and fire a three and miss it. The ball tapped out of bounds with 7 and 4/10 seconds left. Now, Sally will inbound. And I'm not sure what Jimmy was questioning the scoreboard, but here comes Vinnie Johnson. He drives and scores, 107-97. And the Sixers will hold it. And the ball game is over. The Sixers have won the Atlantic Division. They have won the Atlantic Division here, but almost anticlimactic after what transpired with 14 and 8/10 seconds left. They win it by 10. They rule the Atlantic Division. And we'll be right back. Donate $76 to the American Red Cross. Congratulations to Charles on a shining performance. A big-time game for Charles Barkley, scoring, rebounding, and leadership. And you look at the Sixers locker room as they pop the champagne. They won the Atlantic Division for the first time since 1983. And that was the year that they went on to win the championship. They did it here with some great defense in stretches. Detroit made some serious runs at them after the Sixers had built a 10-point lead at halftime. Detroit came out smoking, really shut the Sixers down defensively themselves, but Philadelphia never folded. They hung on, played great defense in stretches, shut Detroit down, and slowly built the lead back at the free throw line, and then won the game actually going away. A game that was won 107-97 as the Sixers win the Atlantic Division Championship. The final score again, the Sixers, the Atlantic Division Kings 107, the Pistons 97. For Steve Mix, Neil Funk, thanks for watching. Stay tuned now for an extended Sixers, the postgame with Steve Mix in the Sixers locker room, Neil Hartman and Derek Smith in Philadelphia.
Joining the 76ers beat the Detroit Pistons 107-97. They have clinched the Atlantic Division for the first time since 1983. Charles Barkley, 36 points. He's in the locker room with Steve Mix celebrating.
What's your stomach? We're with Charles Barkley, Rick Mahorn in the 76ers locker room. Tremendous win tonight. If somebody would have said you would have won the Atlantic Division at the beginning of the year, what would you have said?
I would say you're right, but unfortunately, the only people that have faith is the coaching staff and the 12 guys in here. We felt like we could do it, and this is a great feeling.
You got a little fight tonight. You got a little mark on your left cheek.
I cannot believe he went for my. I told him he wanted a shot at the heavyweight title, but I think I got him in a decision.
It's a big win tonight. Obviously, now that the Boston Celtic game doesn't mean anything, everybody was hoping that game really wouldn't come down to meaning the Atlantic Division, although you're probably going to say you would have won it, but you would have hated to see it come down to that.
Well, we're not going to give them that game Sunday anyway.
All right.
We're going to go out and try to play just like it's a regular game. Obviously, we don't like the Celtics, so it doesn't matter. As long as we're playing them, it doesn't matter.
After tonight's game, you don't like Detroit either, do you?
Well, we didn't like them coming in. I just think it was very cheap what they tried to do.
Let's take all that aside. Let's look back at the beginning of the game tonight. You guys were definitely focused coming into tonight's ball game.
Well, we didn't want it to come down to Sunday because anything can happen in a one-game series. We came in here. We had a meeting before the game. We said, there's no way we're going to get out of here without a win tonight. That was the main reason we had the meeting this afternoon, before the game. No way we was going back to Philly without this.
Well, Charles, congratulations. Big win. Congratulations. Championship. There it is now. last time the 76ers won the championship. 83. Rick, you got a shot at winning it again this year like you did last year?
Hey, it'll be a nice scenario to a whole lot of things that I've been through at the beginning of the season. Coming to Philly, and that helps out to win the Atlantic Division Championship. And just looking forward and be focused when we go there to play for the championship.
You were a little disappointed Detroit let you go. Now all of a sudden you're with Detroit. I think you're going to be here a long time. You're feeling comfortable with your teammates and the coaching staff. I hope you're here a long time.
Well, I hope I'm here a long time too, because I really love Philadelphia and I love these other 11 guys and the coaching staff. I might even like you, Steve.
One of these days. You came in here a team that really lacked defense in the middle. You supplied that defense. You supplied good, strong, solid defense in the middle.
Hey, Kenny Payne, we got an interview in here. Well, that helped out a lot because, you know, coming in here and to have a defensive...
It's empty, Rick.
Okay.
Don't worry.
He's tightening up.
You know, coming here with the strategy of just having a good defense and playing with a person like Charles instead of against him helps out a lot.
Well, tonight's ball game, you know, you really... you know what? I'm surprised defensively you're as good as you are. I never thought when I was playing against you. But watching you, you've got good lateral movement, you've got good quickness, and you supply, like I said, good, solid defense. But your offensive game, you said you have 21 offensive moves. You know what? I've only seen 19 this year. You got to show me 2 more.
Hey, I'm waiting to get Derek and Bobby Thornton back so I can teach them some of the moves because we missed them, and this is for you, Derek, and you, Bobby. Wish you was here with us.
All right, congratulations. Appreciate it. Super. Jimmy, we got Jimmy Lynam with us right now. Jimmy, tremendous win tonight.
Yeah, we were pleased, obviously, Steve. We knew it wasn't going to come easy here. It was a very physical, hard-fought game.
You guys, go ahead.
No, I'm just happy for our players. You know, it's been a long run. The Celtics have stayed right on our heels, and these guys have done a terrific job.
Now, if somebody would have told you at the beginning of the year, Jimmy, you're going to win the Atlantic Division Championship, what would you have said to him?
I would have said it would have relieved a lot of pressure on me if I had known that.
Take a lot of pressure off at the beginning of the year. Rick Mahorn, Charles Barkley, Mike Jaminski, good front court players. But I think that the big player for you guys this year has been Hawk coming off and hitting the outside shot.
Hawk has done a tremendous job. Charles has said that all year long, that he's key to the success of this team. But it's tough to point out one player. You know, when you reach this stage and play as well as we played for this stretch of time, there's a lot of people involved.
All right, Jimmy, congratulations. Super win. Lang Division, great. We're going back to Philadelphia with Neil Hartman and Derek Smith.
Steve Mix, thank you very much. A joyous locker room at the Palace in Auburn Hills as Ron Anderson, Freddie Carter, Kurt Nymphius, Scotty Brooks, and the rest of the 76ers you see there on your screen are celebrating the Sixers Atlantic Division title. The final tonight, 107-97. The Sixers have won their first title since 1983. In a moment, Derek Smith will get his time in the spotlight to talk about the big win tonight as Sixers the postgame continues. The Detroit Pistons this season. In fact, they could have made it 4 out of 4, losing that heartbreaker in early March. But tonight, the final 107-97. The Sixers win the Atlantic Division title, and that's what our extended post-game show is all about. As we take a look at stats from tonight's game, the 76ers shooting 46%. The Pistons never got in the lead in the second half. The Sixers held off some charges by the Pistons, who shot 44% from the field. The Pistons missed a lot of free throws. They missed 13, in fact, to shoot 70%. That's a big factor right there. The Sixers, with Charles Barkley in particular, having a tough time from the line, but overall, going to the line 39 times. They came through when they needed to, shooting 80%. The Sixers, even with rebounds with the Pistons and turnovers, also even. As far as Charles Barkley, 36 points for CB tonight, 14 rebounds. Mike Jaminski with 16 points. Ron Anderson with 14 points. A terrific game off the bench for Ron. Johnny Dawkins and Hersey Hawkins coming in with 25 points from the backcourt, 13 and 12 points respectively. As far as the Detroit Pistons, James Edwards, the ageless wonder, in the middle with 24 points. Mark Aguirre with 15. Johnson with 14. He got hot there for a while, but then cooled off. Isaiah Thomas, 13 points. Dennis Rodman with 10, 8 of which were in the first half for Dennis Rodman.